Hello, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about my winter witchy morning routine. So no, I'm not gonna have the fancy B-roll where everyone like casually sets up a camera as if that's definitely how they just go about their morning and their houses are clean and perfect. I'm just gonna tell you about what mine is. I'm not one of those fancy YouTubers and witches that has really elaborate B-roll to have with a voiceover and fancy music in the background. So it's not one of those videos, I'm just telling you what mine is. So each season I've noticed that I kind of shift what my routines are for witchcraft, and so as winter's coming, it's very cold now, it's dark all the time. I figured this was a good time to check in and see what I want to include or take out and just kind of reevaluate my daily routines, so here's mine. So the very first thing I do in the mornings is I write down my dreams. I have a notebook right by my bed, and if I'm not wanting to flip on the lights, let's say I wake up at like 1 in the morning, I don't have to get up that early. I also have a notepad thing in my phone where I will type it out, and then, because for me typing is easier than flipping on a light and writing it, so I'll just type it out and then transfer it in the morning. But I found that writing down my dreams, there starts to become a pattern, and so I've just gotten into the habit and I want to continue that. I haven't done it like every single day because sometimes I'm like, I don't know if that's like an important detail or not, and so I'm like, it's fine. Or you just genuinely don't remember and you just remember like really vague details. But the more you do it, the better it is and the easier it becomes, so that's something that I'm planning on doing over the next few winter months. Number 2 is to start doing some morning affirmations. Now normally what I do is I'll do an affirmation or two before I get out of my bed in the mornings, but I want to have like a specific one that I'm doing, not just coming up with one every day. Have a set one that I'm going to do throughout the winter months. Usually this is going to have something to do with the projects I'm working on and different focuses that I have at the time, but just to have a specific affirmation that I want to do. So you don't really notice this because I usually have my hair down for my videos, but I actually keep my hair in braids most of the time. It's just easier, it's out of the way, and so after I've brushed it, I'll re-braid it, and in the morning as I'm doing that, to put an intention. Now I actually learned this from one of my old neighbors. She was a full-blooded Navajo, and so she did this and mentioned it, and I was like, that's such a cool idea. And like there's a lot more into the culture with braiding. And I don't know if it's like all tribes do that and if they all have like, I feel like most of them have some kind of a braid like reasoning and like I don't want to call magic because I don't really think they use that term, but there's sacredness in braids. And so the way that my Navajo neighbor had taught me was that you put your intentions for the day, and a lot of times like the way she described it was that like the wife would braid her husband's hair and like kind of weave in the intention that she wanted for him to have for that day. So that idea has just always kind of stuck with me, and I don't know if it's in other like pagan cultures, but when I think of it, I think of this neighbor that I used to have, so like that's where I learned it. But basically what I do is I will braid my hair, and while I'm doing that, I'm focusing on what I want to bring in for that day. Next, I want to do a morning offering for the gods and the ancestors. I read online when I was looking up some information for witchery, and it kind of has been stuck in my head. Basically, I was trying to Google like if you use like tobacco in an incense, if it's bad for you, and like burning it because like nicotine and whatever. Google instead was like, listen, you shouldn't burn incense, it's really bad for you, it still causes cancer and like really not great. So now I've been like kind of really not using my usual of incense sticks because like that is so far now ingrained into my soul of like, because like I don't want that. A lot of my family have had issues because they've smoked, they get cancers, so I'm like, oh man. So like every time I go to light my incense, I just kind of back off a bit and I'm like, maybe not, maybe we don't do that, I don't know. Like I'll probably get over it eventually, but also it bothers me so much. Like I've kind of just switched, if I'm going to, instead of like burning incense, I'll just burn a little bit of like a piece of wood. Like I have a Palo Santo stick right now, but eventually I would use like a cedar stick or something because like we have cedar trees everywhere. But to burn a little bit of that instead, because it's like, I don't know. And I don't know if it's like the commercially made or like the handmade, because like some of them you can find like handmade incense like sticks and whatever. But yeah, it's been in my head a lot, so I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I haven't been doing an offering for that because it's been on the mind ever since I googled that. And so instead, I've been leaning more towards a like liquid offering anyways, and I need to revamp the ancestor altar. It's gotten quite a bit of dust, so I'm planning on redoing that completely, and so then I am going to probably do a liquid offering. Currently, I've been really obsessed with coffee, and so I'm just planning on giving a cup of coffee to the gods and to the ancestors in the morning. So anyways, that is my current morning routine. Usually this doesn't take terribly long. So anyways, I would love to hear your morning routines as a witch in the winter down below. Thank you to my patrons. I'll have their names here on the screen. If you would like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like and subscribe. I post every single day, and until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.